Next up on Cruisin', presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine. What do you do with this beauty?
I used to race the out of it.
How'd that go for you?
I finally blew it up.
Talk about traveling light. What do you really need?
Flat screen TV, a sink, closet, bed, table, and chairs.
So it's a home away from home. Plus,
the best painter in the world can't fix bad bodywork with paint.
Mike shows you how to get your car ready for a great paint job. Ready for another episode of Cruisin'?
It's put together with the parts you can find.
And we found some great parts too. Cruisin', presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine, starts now. Every Friday night, Baker Square in Parma is famous for their pies and cars, for their weekly Cruisin' attracting over 200 cars. Bob and Rita Pfeiffer.
Yep.
No relation to Michelle, but you thought that. Anyway, 57 Chevy, beautiful. It obviously wasn't like this when you first got it. Tell us about it.
Well, I probably did about $8,000 worth of body work on it to get her looking pretty, and a good $1,100 worth of paint, and now she looks like she does.
The first car I ever raced was a 57 Chevy. When I was 17, I had a boyfriend who had a 57 Chevy that he used to race out at Thompson and at 42. And my dad would say, "Now, Bud, don't you have Rita in that car?" And he would be laughing because I would be driving it.
This thing used to be a real bear. When we first got it, it had a 400 small block that it was hosting about 530 horsepower. And I used to race the out of it. I finally blew it up.
So you got what in there now?
283. It's a 1967 283 that her brother totally rebuilt for me. And I don't think it's got 1,000 miles on it yet.
Now I love the interior. Whose idea was the interior?
I designed the interior. When we bought the car, it had red velvet interior on it.
Yeah.
So when I took it to have the interior redone, when they took the red velvet off, there was the original bow tie interior on there. And they did everything they could to try to save it for me because I really wanted that bow tie interior. But the red had gotten wet and got on the fabric, so we couldn't. And I have to say that, you know, I knew exactly what I wanted when I went in there, and he just did it for me exactly what I wanted.
Well, it's beautiful, and the white. No, there was no chrome. I mean, you totally did the whole thing.
Yep. Well,
every bit of chrome went through a 3-step process on that car.
Yeah, I polished it all myself.
And it's been done how long?
It's been done probably, I don't know, maybe 6 years.
And you just cruise the daylights out?
Oh, all the time. Every chance I get.
Anything next? I mean, what's in your, just having fun, or what's your?
Well, we're going, both me and my wife are Geminis, and we're going to, what's the name of the place?
Coble's Amusement Park in June. They have old historical rides there. They built a flying turns like they used to have in Euclid Beach. So we figured as long as we're going to the historical amusement park, we will take our historical car.
My 35 Chevy pickup truck, recent purchase, got it from North Carolina, and it's a high-class rat rod.
It is, and it's so high class. I got to ask you about these tech door panels on the interior.
Well, you know, nobody makes better metal than the state, and they're signs.
They're signs.
You get enough signs, and the metal's as good as the metal that's on the car. It's all steel, what's left.
Now, Chuck, tell me about the Bulldog Garage. How'd you come up with that idea?
I needed something on the doors.
That's it?
Yeah, you got to have something there. And being a rat rod, it can change. See me next year.
Now tell me about the sign in the bed.
There's a couple of signs in the bed. And you know, one of them just really it's a gas tank cover. And it's a roadwork sign, again, provided by the state, sorry.
You don't want to say which state?
No, I won't say which
Okay,
state.
good, that's good.
I can tell you it wasn't this state.
Oh, good. This is the state of confusion, so you're okay.
That's right.
let's go to, looks like flames on your interior seats there. Or what?
Yeah, you know, you needed something to kind of match the doors. So they're a little yellow. They could be a little more orange, but maybe as the sun gets into them, it'll dull them up a little bit.
All right, let's do the drivetrain. What do you got?
Okay, it's a 350 Chevy. It's a mild build. Got a Corvette valve covers, make it look fast. You know, then the Headman-like headers, but they're not Headman.
Headman-like?
Headman-like headers. You know, it's a rat rod. It's put together with the parts you can find.
And then I love this sign. Normally on every single classic car, there's a sign that says, please do not touch.
Yeah, we have that. We have one right there.
But that says, please.
Please touch.
I'm just trying to make sure that I'm getting the exact details here. Now, the whole car, of course, a truck rather, is capped off with the world famous Bulldog.
The Bulldog garage. And my little Bulldog buddy's right here.
That's the Mack truck symbol.
That's right. Kind of goes with the keychain. I like getting the cars, playing with them. I like driving them. If you can't drive them, you shouldn't own them.
Oh. Here's a big question though. So in other words, after we've seen this, all the signs, I'm kind of like, this is like the signorama. I mean, this is, what could possibly be next in your head?
There'll be more signs.
There'll be.
As I see them, and if they touch me, they'll get put on.
Not from this state?
Not from the, oh, absolutely not. Never.
Coming up.
Car's been literally cut in half horizontally and 4 inches taken out and dropped back down.
Next on Cruisin', presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine. Now, back to Cruisin', presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine. And you are the proud owner of this 66 Ford Fairlane.
I am the proud owner of a 66 Ford Fairlane.
All right, tell us how you found your car.
Found it in one of the car magazines. It was out in Valley City. The gentleman bought it for his wife. She didn't want it. And he was selling it. It came from Oregon. It was originally built in Maryland. Now it got to Oregon and back to Valley City. And I really wasn't crazy about the color. I just bought it because I wanted to build a car. And the rest is history. I just started. I've had it going to be 7 years.
Now, I hope I pronounced it right, but Sauterne is the name of the color?
Sauterne Gold.
And that is the original color.
That is the original color that I put back on the car.
Beautiful job.
Yes.
Tell us the story about the interior.
It had a bench seat in it, and it was really bad. And when I was out at my friend's house that does all these old cars, I asked him, I said, you know anybody selling bucket seats? He said, and he pointed out in the driveway, he said, my wife's BMW. Had red leather interior in it. So we took the wiring out. It was 10-way power seats. We took all the harnesses, took the seats, went in his basement, the back seat also out of my car, and went through his leather samples, ordered the hides. They got there about 2 weeks later. We reupholstered the bucket seats and the back seat, and I said, what do we do with all the switches for the 10-way power seats? And he said, well, we'll build a console. So we built a console, and we upholstered that to match the interior. So now it has BMW 10-way power bucket seats in it. Headrests and everything are power.
And your back is better.
Oh, it's got armrests. It's great.
Now you got, is that the original motor came with it, or did you?
It's the original block.
Okay.
It's the only thing that's left. I put a 9-inch in it. Then I pulled the motor when we were going to paint the car, because I always liked what Chrysler did. Their engine compartments were the same color as their cars. So when everything was out of the engine compartment, we sandblasted it, 2 coats of primer, 2 coats of paint, 2 coats of clear coat. So the engine compartment, same color as the car.
Well, the car's been sectioned. The car's been literally cut in half horizontally and 4 inches taken out and dropped back down.
And also chopped?
Also chopped 2.5 inches.
Now explain this cool paint job.
That's a one-of-a-kind color. A friend of mine's the manager of color design for PPG, and he came up with the color. And another good friend of mine, Bob Stevens, painted the car in 2006.
And then how long, now this car is an older custom as far as, this was originally done.
It was originally cut, originally chopped and sectioned in the early 80s.
And so you've kept this thing alive, because I tell you, customs are really hard to find nowadays, and this is kind of a great tribute to all the old custom builders.
Well, it's been redone since I bought it. It's new interior, new paint, took the door handles off, added some side trim, changed it a little bit, but the original cuts were done in the early 80s.
And talk about the interior.
The dash was handmade back in the early 80s. The seat's out of a 67 Cougar.
And you're just, there's nothing next for you as far as you're keeping this for as long as you can, right?
Right, because of the history.
Yeah.
The people involved with it are all gone now.
But I bet a lot of people appreciate this. A lot of, you know, old custom guys.
There's not too many around like it.
Let's visit Cruise In Marketplace. Tough Stuff Performance Accessories. All Tough Stuff products are quality made in Cleveland, Ohio using 100% new components. Tough Stuff has a complete line of underhood accessories for the custom and hot rod market. All Tough Stuff products meet or exceed OEM specifications. For more information, visit toughstuffperformance.com or call 1-800-331-6562. Ultimate Headers. Big tubes for tight places. The last set of headers you'll ever have to buy using 321 stainless. UltimateHeaders.com. Call 440-234-9600. If you'd like to be a part of Cruise In Marketplace, give us a call. Call 330-697-4155 or email Mark now. info@cruisin.tv. Coming up,
There's nothing a beautiful paint job's gonna do to fix that.
we visit Mike's Garage next on Cruise In, presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Cruise In, presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine.
Hi, I'm Mike, and this is my garage. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about paint and bodywork. The best painter in the world can put a beautiful paint job over crappy bodywork, and it's still just a crappy paint job. I've looked at cars, I've tried to purchase cars, and there's times where you'll go look at a car and they say fresh paint. Just spent all this money on this paint job. And you go look at it, and that's kind of what they're banking their value of the car on is, hey, you know, I've got this beautiful new paint job on it. Well, when you look at a car and it's wavy underneath, paint, there's nothing a beautiful paint job's gonna do to fix that. So you have to repaint. So pretty much the value of that paint job is zero. Plain and simple, this car right here has been putting its polyester coat. Right off the bat, this is your base. I've already done all the filler work and all the underneath work. Spend all the time you can there. The straighter the car is before you put the material on, the better even yet. All primered, where do I go? If you see, you'll see on this, it's got this black speckled finish to it. That's what I call a guide coat. Spray it on your primer, it puts this little speckled finish on it. What that's gonna do, when you're block sanding, you're trying to find your highs and your lows. You're cutting your high spots off to bring them down to the lows. Taking a piece of sandpaper, folding it around, and going on your body like this, ain't gonna get you a straight job, period. Nothing you can do is gonna get you straight with that. DA and a machine isn't gonna get a straight finish as a hand-blocked job will. We've got many different blocks you can use, a round block, lengths of blocks. You've got shape blocks. Every different block you could imagine. Again, you're looking, you've got a nice sharp for getting into edges. You've got a big round for maybe you've got one of those real swooping quarters. There's so many different ways that these blocks can come in handy. Now, long blocks. When you're doing very long, vast, straight panels, the longer the block, the more area it's going to span, the better you're going to be. But you also have to remember too, every little bit of pressure you put on that block can flex. A lot of it is in a feel. The thicker, hardier the block is the one I would suggest to start with, okay? Plain and simple, you're taking your sandpaper, and I'll show you how this guide coat helps you. Now for me, I like to take, this is one of my favorite blocks because again, it's very hardy, and if you over push, you know you're not going to be bending this block a whole lot. Sticky paper, you can get that, again, any auto body store. Different angles, taking the angles. I always do like a cross hatch, so you're cutting it in a different direction, and try and go the whole panel. You don't have to push, let the sandpaper do the work, and what you'll see as I'm going across this, again, if you look, you're taking all your high spots off, and this is a very high build polyester material. So pretty much it sprays very textured unless you thin it out. Any solvents that get trapped before your finish, they still got to come out. Whether it's now or 6 months down the road and it comes out and it leaves those tiny little imperfections in your paint, it will happen. So I don't mind spraying a little more textured and heavy because I didn't put any solvents into this material, because as you see, by the time you're done cutting, you're going to take all them spots off anyways, and the nicer it is underneath, the nicer this is going to come out. So again, work it a whole panel down all the way, and you just work it until all that guide coat is gone and you're straight as an arrow. And then when you apply a nice finish over top of it, that finish is worth something. A finish over a wavy, not pretty car is a worthless finish. The best painter in the world can't fix bad bodywork with paint. Well, this has been my garage. We'll see you next week.
Next on Cruise In.
It's got a total of 1,382,000.
He's driven 55.5 times around the world. Coming up on Cruise In, presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine. Now, back to Cruise In, presented by Cruisin' Times Magazine.
Rick Winkler, this has got to be the biggest vehicle we've ever shot. 1999 Peterbilt?
379 Peterbilt, yes sir.
And you bought it brand spanking new?
Yes.
In 99?
Yes.
And just off the top of your head, plus or minus, how many miles?
It's got a total of 1,382,000.
That's 1 million as in million.
Million.
Start someplace. Tell me what kind of motor. I mean,
well, it's a 3406 Cat. It's about 650 horsepower, 13-speed overdrive transmission.
And how long a wheelbase?
293-inch wheelbase.
Now you've totally, I would say, because I don't know anything about trucks, but customized this thing, and what have you done to it?
Well, last summer we tore it down. We had the bare frame rails laying flat on the garage floor. We cut them in half, added 2 feet to the frame rails, had powder coated, and started rebuilding everything. The interior has a custom Indiana custom sleeper.
Well, the interior is like a small apartment.
Yes.
Or a small condo. I mean,
sure. Sure. You have a microwave, refrigerator, flat screen TV, a sink, closet, bed, table, and chairs.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes it very comfortable for what I have to do. Yeah.
What color paint? I mean, you tell me that.
Well, the red is 1988 Ford color. It is Ford Crystal Racing Red, and with silver and black accents. My design. Ford's colors.
The stacks, what are we talking?
Well, these are 8-inch chrome Lincoln exhaust pipes. They're 13.6 tall, about $5,000.
$5,000?
Yes, sir.
So that's, oh my God. So everything is in gigantic proportions. I mean,
yeah, a Peterbilt's like a Harley. Everything is very expensive.
And I heard you talking to somebody that you've got more miles backing up than we have on our regular car. Is that true?
Some people, yeah, that would hold true. Yeah, with some people, sure.
And then it's more fun than a what?
Oh, it's a lot of fun to drive. I enjoy it. I really love my job. I've been doing it for 38 years now. I've got a little over 3 million miles on myself. And I have a real good time with this. I've been in business for a long time.
Now, can I ask you this? I mean, you can just say no, but I mean, to customize this.
New truck to replace this. This came down to either me redoing this or buying a new truck. A new truck would have cost me about $160,000. I've got about $125 in this.
My God, I can't even. I think our viewers are going to say this is an incredible job you've done, Rick.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a labor of love. Like I said, between this, the car, the motorcycle, I really enjoy driving stuff, and I like having custom vehicles.
Well, that puts the wraps on another Cruise In. And thanks to Baker Square and their 200+ cars every Friday night through the summer. We'll see you next week on Cruise In.